podcast for the most part. But like,
Not be any cringe shit.
no. I don't talk about cringe shit in public, just like in like private and stuff. But like, do you guys like eggnog?
Eggnog?
Eggnog.
I do. I like the taste of it's a little weird, but like the consistency of it's like, am I drinking cream right now? This is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, so I'm kind of like one of the weird people. I do not like alcoholic eggnog, but I love regular eggnog, unalcoholic eggnog. I don't know what it is. It's probably cancer. But Corvus, do you like eggnog?
Eggnog, no, but there is like a Puerto
Ac-
Rican version called coquito, which is kind of like eggnog, but not eggnog, if that makes sense. It has egg in it, and it has Bacardi. It's mostly Bacardi, but it tastes really good.
So it's got egg and Bacardi, but does it have nog?
No.
I don't think I've ever had alcoholic eggnog. I didn't really know that was a thing.
Yeah, it tastes really fucking good. It's called coquito. You should look it up on Google and make it one day.
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm a psychopath because I like eggnog. Anyway, take it away, Bridger.
I think you're a psychopath for liking eggnog too. Honestly, I think your wife is brilliant. What's up, guys? Welcome back to We Are 501. This is episode 6, aka the ARC episode. We're excited to have everybody out today, including CP Korvus, who we'll hear from in just a few minutes here. Just want to say, thank you guys again for all the support that we've been getting. This is now week 6 that we're doing this, so about a month and a half. Podcast has been in its existence. And we're absolutely crushing it over here with your support. So keep it coming. We love hearing your guys' ideas for ads, and Dusty loves hearing the sound of his own voice. So keep them coming while they're here. We are pushing ever closely to Winter Stand Down right now. And it's becoming imperative, get your stuff in order before that hits us. And looking like next week or the following week, we're wrapping everything up. So it's exciting. I mean, we're gonna get a break. It's the holiday season. Be with your families and whatnot. You guys got any plans for the holiday season? You guys going anywhere? Or you guys just kind of staying put?
Arma takes precedence over your life, like we talked about today in the chat. So, like, even if it is Christmas Eve and there's an op, it's got to get done. I'm an ARC trooper first, okay? A civilian in the real world second, all right? So,
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. I was gonna go visit family in California. I didn't want to say the last part because I didn't want Sandman to. Hey, you go down to Palm Springs? I'll meet you there.
No one wants to go down to Palm Springs, Sandman. Trust me.
Yeah, it's where his.
Nope. Almost doxed my family.
Yeah,
Good
I know.
job.
I almost did. I'm sorry. I took it back.
I'll finish the job.
Hey, want to come vacation with me in 29 Palms? Haha, no. Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, Bridger, Val, Sandman are with me today. We're gonna get into it here with our spiel here. We're gonna start with the campaign review. Obviously, Cyclone was on campaign this week. Sandman, do you have any insight from? I believe you're at the Cyclone 1 and 2 operations. How did that go for y'all?
It was awesome. The Cyclone 2 operation I did first, and we literally got stomped, and it was fucking great. There was so much opposition. I looked at the op board and I was like, oh, that's pretty simple. We're gonna land. We're gonna follow the phase line, take over this, and continue moving. Like, we just got crushed. And not like, the spawning 3,000 platoons of bullshit. It was actual tactics because we were getting bogged down. So, droids started flanking everyone. Then armor started flanking, and it was like, it was like out of a war movie. You had like Panzer IVs coming over the line, and Shermans were on the back firing it while we were getting torn up in the middle. It was beautiful. It was so much fun. And same with the Cyclone 1-Op too. We just got shredded, and it was awesome.
The Cyclone 1-Op was fucking chaos, and I loved every bit of it.
Got me. It looks like everyone in Cyclone just kind of racked up the kill count this week.
We did so much shooting and got shot at. So much. It was wonderful.
Like a minimum of 1,000 deaths, like for each enemy thing. Damn, you guys are killing it. That's wild. What about story wise? What were you there to find? Do you guys know, or talk a little bit about that? Probably one of the more important things.
Yeah, I don't know about Cyclone 2. Cyclone 1, we were told to just like take a hill and make sure the CIS didn't get it back. So okay, we take hill. I didn't read the op board that in depth because I kind of was like, hey, Cyclone 1 needs an arc. We're leaving in like 10 minutes. So okay, I'll be there.
From my understanding, that was pretty much the objective for all the platoons as far as Cyclone goes right now, is to secure ground and then maintain ground and defensive posture. That's about all I know on that front.
Yeah, Cyclone 2, we got a little fun thing to do. We got to go to take out a little recharging facility. And like we kicked the door down, all cool like, and then we're like, myself, Parks, Dato, and Gamble were sitting there like, that's a fucking red fuel barrel. And we were trying real quickly to like clear it without blowing them up, and they were like, let's pop the squat shield and see if we can detonate it. We couldn't detonate it. So we put explosives on and blew it up anyway, but it was super fun. Nice little side objective.
It's looking like Cyclone 3 found like a giant CIS, they're calling it a carrier, but it looks like a droid ship, so like one of those control ships. So that might be something that comes up in the coming weeks here. So that is absolutely, we're heating up here, and hopefully something really major happens before we go on winter standdown. I know the joke was last year that Jay had been captured. Jay was missing over Christmas, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this year. Who knows?
When you say command ship, do you mean like a Lucre Hulk?
Yeah. The thing that is like the droid brains.
I know what that word is.
You know why? I don't know why I didn't think Lucre Hulk. I was more thinking of episode 1 when he goes, "I'll try spitting. That's a trick," and then blows it up like a 9-year-old. Imagine getting your ship blown up by a 9-year-old from like a planet like with like no television. Anyway, so he gets blown up, and then you get defeated by like orange cringe monster Gungans. So. That's what I'm more like what I was thinking. I was like, oh, you turn off brain. That's all I was able to get out.
That's the important parts. That pretty much sums it up about that whole episode. But
hell yeah. Yeah, but no, sounds good. Sounds like it's gonna end on a high note here. So shout out to story writers.
Here in my hangar with my brand new Lat C. Fun to fly around here on Geonosis. But you know what I like more than this Lat C? It's supporting the 501st Legion on Patreon. Every month, the unit's responsible for keeping the lights on. We can only do that with your support. Like our famed Captain Rex once said, that's what brothers do.
With that, we're going to get into bulk. You don't know what bulk is, haven't been here. That's mod updates, high council notes, any important announcements, any kind of discussion on that. We are going to start with the mod updates. I don't know if there are any mod updates at all, as a matter of fact.
The only thing I heard last night was repair 327th.
Repair it or remove it?
Repair it.
Repair. Okay, I gotta add it back in then.
Awesome. Yeah, added back in. Thank you, Korvus. Added back in, repair it. 327th mod is now working again. So we are slowly becoming unified as Gark. You love to see it. That's a major update. Obviously, I'm sure Mark and Hobnob appreciate everybody's patience with them. So you go, Glen Coco.
Did you guys talk about Ace Pharmacy last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we did. Yeah,
little
Ace
bit,
Pharmacy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Ace Pharmacy's back on server 7 this week. Love to see it.
Yeah, sorry, my brain's just fucking retarded, so I can't remember shit. I listened to the I listened to the episode too. That's the worst part.
That's why you get paid the big bucks. Go Navy.
Navy's not paying me shit.
That's what I was gonna say. As far as High Council notes go for this week, the final vote went in to officially switch to TFAR beta full time. If you feel like you don't want this, bring it up to your COC. This is something we've been testing for quite a while now. I think it's pretty much normalized at this point. It's been kind of nice to use the radio like underwater. I'm not gonna lie. So that's something that's gone up.
Oh yeah, maybe one of you guys can answer this question, because as far as I was told, the droids in TFAR beta will react to your voice if they can hear it.
Yes.
True?
So I do a lot of Gark shit. Normally at night, because like I play at weird times. I live on the Pacific Coast, so like, yeah, the Pacific Coast, not the West Coast. I live on the West Coast, and like, I play a lot with the 101st, and they do a lot of stealth fun ops and stuff like that. We go over there, and it's a lot of, hey, make sure you're on whisper, and also make sure you are prone, because they do definitely respond to, if you're on yelling and they hear it. It's kind of like a short range gunshot. Especially with lambs, they'll come in like investigate it. I thought was fucking awesome. We need to add like melee kills so you can like come behind it and break its little droid neck and then Roger. But they definitely respond to sound, from what I can tell.
That's bad news for you, Valhalla. You keep talking all the time. They're gonna know where you are. It's like echolocation.
Yeah, funnily enough, I actually did an op with Ackley. There we go. I ran with Ackley for Avalanche 3, and like, for me that's chaos, because like their communication like methods are the complete opposite from how an Arc Fire team works. Is because like they all go on yelling, and then go on one frequency, and then with Arcs we all go on whispering, and then just talk on the radio. But like they hardly ever talk on the radio. So like I'm running around or whatever, and like I'm on the one frequency, and then like I'll walk somewhere to go hold security, and my hearing isn't really all that great. So somebody will be within hearing range or like yelling range, and they'll be on yelling, and then they'll be like, "Alpha team, we're going north," and I will just look around. I'll be like 4 different times I stopped to look around and be like, "Where the fuck is Bandit? Like, where's my team?"
Look
Like,
at those
I am-
Acolyte troopers over there just walking away. Those guys. Oh shit.
Like, I am lost. Like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was cool. I went to that too. That was super fun. I got to go be QRF with Waze and the boys. That shit was awesome. I brought a Z1000 with me. A jetpack and a Z1000 is the ultimate fucking combination for Republic domination. Because while you are flying, you can still use the Z1000. 10 out of 10.
I don't know if you're supposed to do that.
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that. Anyway.
Exposed. 10 out of 10, we go.
Exposed. Thank you. Thank you,
Listen,
everyone.
I was listening to the jump codes. You know, my team leader would be like, you know, ×1 long jump, 333 on my mark, and I just turn around the other way and shoot some stuff.
Definitely not supposed to do that. Anyway, before you say anything else incriminating, We'll move on to the next note. You're gonna get a DM after this.
Have you ever been in the field, down in the dirt with your bros, mud running over the calves of your teammates, blood squirting from every orifice, just covering your face? You feel your brother's hot, warm liquids oozing down your hands. If you haven't experienced this, you haven't lived. Join the 501st Medical Detachment.
Our next note, the other main one, is we are talking about implementing ACE Pharmacy. Medics everywhere rejoice. It's good stuff. Medics everywhere rejoicing. Obviously, there's some good stuff coming with that down the pipeline. So we are putting that up to vote. Those are the two major things that went through this week. I guess we're going to try to squeeze as much as we can in before Winter Standdown starts. I don't know what else to say other than that.
How do you guys feel about our B2s right now? Not like texture-wise or like anything like that, but like, I know they're kind of like a glass cannon kind of thing. And I remember when they first got like nerfed to the point where like they didn't require like actual tactics to kill, I was like, yeah, happy. But like, yeah, you kind of just like shoot them like once and then or twice and they go down.
Have you tried the new ones yet? The ones that are like the color black?
Yeah,
Those
no,
ones are cool.
that's just because I mean, yeah, those ones are cool.
They
but,
got
like,
swapped
that's just 'cause
out.
Yeah, the hitbox on them is kind of like weird.
It is. I agree. I
I think
legit was
that's
saying.
why people.
I literally told, I forget who I told someone, I was like, there's no way I'm this bad at shooting things because I was missing. I would try to go for the shoulder and a B2 and it would just go right through. I'm like, man, I suck at this game. So I found out later that there's a hitbox thing, but I think they take a lot more and they're a little bit more tanky. So I think in the long run it's good. I like it too, honestly.
I like I want them to, like, down the line when everything's like, pristine and perfect, I want them to be like the old Clone Wars cartoon B2s, like the ones that were like 9 feet tall and would just literally dominate squads of clones.
Mm-hmm.
Those things were fucking bad. Like they were a challenge, and I would love to see that.
Yeah, that's what I miss of the old B2s is, you come around a corner and you're face to face to a B2 and you just start, pooping your pants. B2, load highs. Like that's what I miss. I honestly personally do not enjoy these B2s. I find them a little too easy.
You miss getting knocked out by like the not the blaster bolt from a B2, but like the splash damage it creates.
Yes.
I was thinking about it before, but like I kind of miss like the tankiness of them. I don't miss dumping an entire mag into them, and they're just like I don't really care that much. But yeah,
it forces teamwork. It forces like what we train in like UTC. It's like I remember the first thing that I was told by, I think it was like Ethan, who was my instructor, was like, you want one guy on the left, one guy on the right. You want one guy to pop out, get the attention, and shoot in the back. And like the next fun op that I got into, I was like, bro, I can solo this. This is easy as shit. What do you mean? I don't need teamwork. I can do this myself. And like now they're starting to turn back into where you require that teamwork, and that's always awesome. Communication and like things working the way they're supposed to is wonderful.
Do you enjoy the sweet, sweet grip of your brothers as they slowly work their way up your thigh? Do you enjoy when your brothers take their helmet off and put their soft lips on yours? Do you love every other person on the field hating your existence? Well then, good news. I have the solution just for you. Load up your favorite kit and slap on a sweet, sweet, juicy unicorn on your shoulder and watch all your dreams come true.
Well, love that. I definitely think it's a good change. We are. Let's pivot here. Obviously, we've had somebody in a channel for a little bit here, Mr. Korvus, longtime member of the unit here. Recently gone to the Cyclone company ARC slot. Congratulations to you, sir. We're happy to have you here. I don't know if you've ever listened to us before, but this is the point in the show where I ask you to tell me how you found the unit. Tell me your story, and what's different about the unit now than when you were when you started in your golden days.
Oh man, it's quite a story. So finding the unit, oddly enough, I didn't find it. I guess how most people found it in those days, which were through Forensic's videos. Um, I found mine. I found the unit through a member. I actually don't know if he's still a member. He was a CT Toast back in the day. He ended up being a medic, I believe, for first platoon, platoon medic. I'm not 100 on that, but we used to play a game called the Isle, and it was a dinosaur survival game. And one night we was up late growing some, I think it was some Utah Raptors or something like that, and we was just talking in the Discord channel and talking about other games we play, and he's like, I play Arma 3. I'm like, oh shit, dude, me too, you know. So I used to be in a milsim, you know. I literally bought a computer specifically for Arma 3, because I was a console gamer up to like about when I joined the unit about 1,300 days ago. Um, and he's like, oh man, if you like milsims, I'm in a StarSim. I'm like, what the hell is a StarSim? He's like, it's basically a milsim, but Star Wars. I said, word? He's like, yeah, we're the 501st. I said, Chief, where do I sign up? And literally that day, I remember that day, it was a Friday. And I came into the recruitment office. It was like 11:30 in the morning or something like that. And I waited and I waited about 4 hours. Finally, I get recruited by CM Mountain. I don't know if you guys remember Mountain, but he was quite a character.
Yes, I do remember Mountain.
uh, anyway, he recruited me into the unit, and literally 5 minutes after that, the initial was starting. And back in the day, it was different. You know, you do your initial, you get CRC right away. Like you didn't have to go through like Zeta, none of that, UTC and nothing like that. You just did mount for 2 weeks, and boom, you was CT. You know, and yeah. So I did the training. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, I was reading the text. Just give me a second.
The mount for 2 weeks, bro.
Yeah, it was mount for 2 weeks.
That
Then you
shit
became a
drained
It's
my
kind of like
mental.
it was kind of like the Hunger Games. Usually you lost your battle buddy midway through to death or dysentery or some Oregon Trail shit, and you had only the strongest survived.
All right, sorry. So yeah, so I did the initial, became a CRC, uh, immediately started doing the process of doing UTC, became a CT finally. As I was coming out of it, Varex, who was either a corporal or a veteran trooper at the time, he was an ACLE, sergeant major, acting sergeant major for ACLE at the time, and he recruited me into ACLE, and I was in ACLE pretty much for a good quarter of my time here in the unit. I was in it for about 9 months, maybe 10. Uh, from ACLE, you know, I learned a lot there. I love those guys. Um, even still now, everyone in ACLE is a lot. It's no longer the same people that once were there. It's a lot of new guys. Um, but I definitely feel like, you know, it was my first home because it definitely was. I was in the unit for literally 3 weeks, and I was in ACLE, and that's all I know. Um, in the beginning, that's all I knew was ACLE. Uh, and yeah, and then eventually ended up trying out for ANS to join the beloved Onyx detachment that we also love.
Beloved.
And and re- but
You know
yeah.
how the OPSEC stuff came about?
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, could
Man.
you? Okay, yeah. Actually, that's a great question because I think you're now old enough, Korvus, that because I attended ANS for like 2 days and then I had to go on the LOA. There's a lot of guys that don't know that process. What was that like? I mean, you made it, so
So real quick, just to correct that, I failed on range day. It was on day 6. I failed by 0.002 fraction of a point or something like that was the explanation I was going to. Anyway, I there was some aspects of ANS that I liked. Not all of it. I hated. So ANS was hell. It was essential. I've never been to the military, but I think for those of you that have been to the military, similar to I would assume what boot camp would be. It was very formal. Uh, you had to refer to yourself as this candidate or that candidate. You cannot refer to yourself in name. Sir, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, since Zora was in the detachment at the time. Um, and it was honestly just a joke, in my opinion. I didn't like all of it. I definitely like the togetherness that it brought people. It made you feel closer to the people you was going through ANS with, because the group you started with is usually the group you would end ANS with, and as the days went on, that group would shrink. And so it kind of made you feel like you guys were, I can't even explain, you were connected, in a way, I guess, is a, for the lack of a better word. um But yeah, it was very formal when Uller was in charge. If for you guys that haven't been around that long, Uller was the commander of ARC detachment, and he he had a way to for newer members coming in, because it was for me anyway. It definitely put the wool over my eyes, and I wanted to be an ARC eventually. Um, because when I first came in, yeah, I saw Arc. That was really cool. But what was cool to me was jumping out of the lats. I wanted to be that. But always in the back of my head, I said, I'll eventually try for ANS. And it was because of a conversation I had with Uller. Um, but once I did like the whole ANS, I started realizing that it was just to stroke, these guys' egos. Um, they had us singing cadences. We were doing PT. I don't know
Bro.
if you remember that.
yes, I do remember.
Like
Virtual
PT
PT, guys. Yes.
Oh fuck, man.
Like virtual PT, literally, and ANS was big, guys. Like ANS was a big deal in the unit. Like no matter what people thought about it, it always had like 50 plus people going for it. And so we're talking about a line of all these people trying to keep a straight formation, a straight column, singing a cadence, doing virtual PT for like about 20 minutes. And you did that every start of the day and every end of the day.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't have lasted 63
Yeah,
seconds,
I
dude.
would have been fucking kicked out of that real quick because that
I-
shit was fucking awful and real.
Yes, drill instructor. Yes, sergeant.
I would have
Fucking, you want that shit? Go fucking join the military and get your shit pushed in. Then when you get out, you're like, wow, that is really awful and cringe.
I have what it takes.
I would have immediately just gotten extremely toxic the second somebody was just like, if somebody came up to you and they were like, scream, I'd be like, you scream, bitch. Like, who the fuck
It
you
was
think you are?
yeah, no, Korvus. I mean, that sounds like what I did. I made it 2 days though. It could have been much worse. So what happened? I mean, you said you didn't make it on range day. From what a couple people have said that were on here previously, is that a lot of people actually fail range day. So what did you you know, when that was done, like, did you always want to be an ARC after that, or how did you end up where you are now?
Yeah. So what ended up happening is in so the way Onyx detachment worked in selection is and it was pretty dumb. Even if 11 people made it to day 7, only one was getting picked. It didn't matter. So you can have, the other 10 people thinking they made it because it's day 7 and that's only has 7 days. And then have them all do like this op and then only pick one person, right? So I ended up getting into Onyx through a Generation 3 program, which were essentially ARC troopers who specialized in reconnaissance, right, and long range engagements.
The Rangers, right?
The Rangers, yes. And essentially, my grades were good, not good enough to be chosen out of the one person they were going to pick, or I believe for that class they made it a consideration and they picked 2 people if I remember correctly, but usually it was just one, and so I got in through that way. Uh, but this was months after, right? So like ANS finished and I'm back in Accolade. And it's like 5 months later, and I get a message, and they're like, "Hey, you still interested in joining the Onyx detachment?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." As a Generation 3, I'm like, "Yeah, why not? I'll give it a go." And I did that for about 9 months. All right, guys, I was in training because this is just how like heads up asses. Like it was far gone in the detachment at that point, and I was literally training as a Generation 3 ARC trooper for 9 months, and at around the 9-month mark, they give me the option to become a Generation 2 ARC Trooper. But not a Generation 2 ARC Trooper fully fledged, a candidate ARC Trooper, which that came with another 4.5 months of training as an ARC candidate for a Generation 2. Became ARC and a fully fledged Generation 2. Ended up getting Cyrus 1-2 Alpha Strike Team lead, and Onyx was disbanded a month later. So that's my experience so far, up until now with Crate. So my experience in the unit got a little rocky there towards the middle. It was definitely a little hit and miss, but I was dedicated. I was a little bit on the fence of maybe stepping down and taking a break from the unit, but I was convinced otherwise, to stick around, and eventually, if ARC was to get reopened, I can be in a position to try out for it, hopefully get picked, and be able to kind of help build it, which fortunately I had the opportunity to do. So I can't complain. It's good now.
Yeah. I think the way that the arcs are now are it's just objectively healthier than all that bullshit that you were just talking about, where it's just more like we kind of just go in and get an interview or whatever, and like we meet like some like there's some checks in the box you have to meet, like whatever, like so like Trooper Plus whatever, like shows dedication to the unit, is active, and then you guys do the interview, and like I guess I don't know what the fuck you guys look for in an interview, but like I mean you guys picked me, it's like hey fuck it.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like the way it's done now. 100%. ANS back in the day, people were really the whole purpose of ANS was to test in-game ability. It had nothing to do with the person's character, their person. It had nothing to do with that. It was strictly how good do you perform in Arma 3, and that's it. And that's all it was about. And unfortunately, that kind of mentality kind of attracts certain people, I guess you can say. That really, I don't know, made it difficult for the other arcs because not all the arcs in Onyx were bad. You know, there were some really good guys there, but they made it difficult for them. You know, for us because I wasn't with that. I used to get in trouble all the time because you know in fun ops. And if I'm rambling, you guys can stop me. You know?
No, hit it, dude.
Nah, you're
No,
good,
All
no.
bro.
right, because
That's the point of this, my guy.
all right, in fun ops, Onyx had like an SOP essentially. It was called formal. So we had like our blue formals, which you know usually that was if CC was on the server. We would immediately switch into everything is yes sir, no sir, yes corporal, no corporal, sergeant. Refer to everyone by rank, even down to troopers. Um, you wouldn't say vet trooper, since you just say trooper, you know. But just to get back on point, we had an SOP where Onyx had to stand off to the side. So where Minox stands now is where Onyx used to stand back in the day. Uh, we had to stand 7 to 11 meters away from the main line, from main infantry, and make sure we was on whispering so no one can hear what we were talking about.
How do you measure that 7 to 11 meters? Do you eyeball
The
it? Or?
shack tack.
I was gonna say,
So
I was gonna say,
shack
did you
tack.
shift
Oh,
click? Did you
God.
shift click on the nearest guy?
No, it was literally shack tack. It was crazy.
Shut the fuck up! We're 6 meters away. Like,
That's wild.
That's true. No, that's true. I do remember that. I was trying to figure out why ARC Trooper never talked to anybody. I didn't realize that was an SOP until much later.
That is insane, man. That
Yeah.
is it is such a 180 from like what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everyone, dude, everyone in ARC is a character. Like there's not one person in ARC that isn't funny as hell or like a pleasure to be around. Besides
Yeah.
Valhalla, but
oh,
Nah,
fucking
I
dumb
agree.
bitch. I mean, yeah.
I agree. If anyone was to approach like this guy, it was really bad. All right. If let's say we was up there and just I don't know, let's say Valhalla approached us. Just seeing Valhalla having just the inclination of coming towards us, we stop our conversation and we go silent until he comes to us. Hey, what's up? You know, we deal with them. It couldn't really be too much meme. Like you can like obviously like, haha, hey man, yeah, what's going on? But it was really no joking. You always had to be kind of serious, you know. Kind of give professionalism was the word that used to be, which is not a bad word to throw around, but they took it too far. Like it's a fucking video game. You know?
yeah, I think you know professionalism, like that word gets thrown around in the real military a lot, and like some of the people I've worked with are the most professional, the most proficient, but like you know they got a great personality too. I think like that whole fucking you can now be a professional and also have a personality, and I think that's like the best difference from back then to what it is now.
I also think there's like different definitions of like professionalism too, because like even like for me in my real job, like professionalism doesn't affect like how I act as a person. I mean, like yeah, sure, there are like some things where I'll be like more like respectful towards people, you know, because like if I don't, then I'll kind of like lose my job because you know military. But as far as like professionalism, like I think professionalism personally is overrated. I think because especially in the real military, if I'm gonna go off on that for a bit, in the real military, people would prefer professionalism over proficiency.
100%.
So like for me, I've always had not like super like long hair, but like for the military, I've always had super long hair, like 3 to 4 inches kind of long. It's always been like kind of messy, and I've always had facial hair, whether it be a mustache or a fucking beard. And my fucking staff sergeant hated me. The guy, the fucking the staff NC that was in charge, my platoon sergeant fucking hated me. It could not fucking stand me. But all my Marines loved me because I wasn't a piece of shit and I could do my fucking job and I was proficient. Now I probably could have balanced it out, and I could probably be more professional, but I just, not gonna lie, I kind of just don't want to. Uh, but yeah, so me personally, professionalism is overrated. That's why I hardly ever do it in the unit, unless it's like absolutely called for.
What is different about Arc now versus what it is, or what it was back when it was Onyx Corvus? What's like the biggest difference? I think
The
you can
biggest
see.
difference, obviously, is like the integration aspect of it. Onyx was very much a, close knit, very, I hate to fucking say it, secretive, like family. And the way it is now is obviously, I mean, everyone can tell it's like complete day and night difference, It's 100% better, in my opinion.
I certainly think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had a great opportunity. Obviously, these knuckleheads below me, I watched them in UTC pretty closely, and there's a couple other guys that I watched during my time, and I think that I think that the quality of people that we look to be an ARC trooper now is a lot different. It's not based on hey, if you survived after day 6 or 7, the best lives. It's more about the quality of the person that you have, and the one that's the most dedicated, and the one that brings life to your squad. I think that's a lot of what squad leaders and leadership look for when they do put names up. I think it's gone really well, and I hope that it continues because it's been good for the unit, and frankly, repairing the reputation around it, I think, has been tremendous. I frankly, if anybody still thinks that, if we even throw we'll call it the E word, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. If we even throw the E word around at you guys now, I just think that's the dumbest thing in the world. Because, I mean, older guys, like, we know what it was really like. If you throw that word around now, sorry to tell you, you have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's, there's been a huge change like that. And obviously that change came about as part of Phase 6, I'm pretty sure. How did you end up? Because you were a platoon arc at one point. How did you find yourself? Obviously Onyx does what I can only assume is like a Great Depression thing. We'll call it, and goes into a nosedive. Where did you go from there?
Well, from there, I ended up getting a transfer into what was 4th Platoon. And I believe I want to say I was in 4-3. I was under Pro. Pro is my squad leader. I believe it was 4-3 though. And I was there for a few months, and then eventually the ARC program opened up, and I was sent a message asking if I was still interested, and I said yes, and that's kind of how I got back into it.
And just the rest was history. Well, I
Yeah.
guess yeah. Okay, so Pro was was Av2 commander for a time, and weren't you? Yeah, I mean you were Av2 platoon arc, so that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I ended up once the ARC program was like full blown going, and the first wave, which was myself. Uh, I can't remember the other guys' names off the top of my head right now. I'm so sorry. But part of the first wave, and I got placed in Avalanche 2-4 at the time. I believe it was. No, we had just changed, so it was 2-3. So I had just got put into 2-3 when it switched over, and I was there for a while. Then finally they introduced the platoon arc billets, and at the time I was the only arc in the 2nd platoon, so naturally it went to me, and then yeah, that's how I ended up in there at that time.
And now you're company. That's awesome, dude. What's and I know you kind of told some stories. What do you have any other good ARC stories from back at Onyx that you think might be an interesting one to share?
You're trying to get all three of us fired, aren't you? I'm getting thrown out because of the whole jumping around. He's out of here because something about professionalism. And then they're trying to throw Korvus under the bus. We know what this is truly for.
Man, to be honest, no. Like, I don't. The only crazy thing that I can say that I honestly. Oh, okay. One thing I can say. It was my third day as the Generation 3, and I got on the Fun Op server, and Uller got on, who was still at the time our commander. So I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna roll, with main infantry.
Have you ever taken a look back on your accomplishments in the unit and feel underutilized? Well, I have the home just for you. Cyclone Company currently has slots open in every platoon, waiting to be filled by young, eager cadets and troopers. In the opinion of this clone, Cyclone is the most elite fighting force in the GAR, and as CSM Dusty always says, it's Cyclone or no clone.
Stand by. Well, with main infantry, no, we ended up just him and I going off. We was about, I don't know, a click and a half away, and Uller starts shooting like people, like clones.
What?
And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, Uller, what the hell is going on? He's like, don't worry about it. You're with the ARC commander. I'm like, okay. And ever since then, I was like, this guy's a fucking asshat, dude. I can't stand this guy. Like, and that's honestly probably the only thing that I can honestly remember besides the whole thing that got Uller removed. Which let me see. You guys remember Delta?
There's no. I do remember Delta. I was gonna say there's no Geneva Convention in space. I remember Delta very well. Yeah, we used to do BCT all the time together.
That's going straight back to that whole professionalism thing. That you see, there it is.
Yeah.
They love that professionalism, but then like on the other hand, boom, I'm shooting clones. No one's looking. Like,
Yeah. So like the whole Delta thing. So Uller he even had a picture. I don't have the document anymore. If not, I would have showed you guys. He had a picture of where we were meant to stand according to rank and like our billet within the detachment. And obviously he was the one all the way to the, he was like the first one in the rank. And one day he gets on, Delta's already on the Fun Ops server. Delta, myself, and Habibi, we were on already. And he ends up getting on. Delta's eating a sandwich AFK, standing in his spot. So Uller stuns him in front of everybody. And, back in the day, Fun Ops was lit. Like, we talking like platoon size ops on Fun Ops 24/7 all the time. And there's about that many people. And he just stuns Delta, takes some captives, puts them on a car. Habibi, Habibi and Delta were friends in real life, and Habibi, goes and he goes to take his boy off the thing, and then Uller stuns him and does the same thing. So that essentially is what got Uller voluntold to step down.
So
Nice.
don't be restraining people. That's no bueno.
Well, Delta
Unless it's
became a
fellow.
CC, so I mean, if that's what it takes, then you can restrain me anytime.
Oh, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Korvus was one of the people who, or if not the person that fucking put my name forward to be an ARC.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. Hello, that was me. I regret it now.
Yeah, look what you've done.
Yeah, he was my platoon arc for a bit.
Yeah.
And what was it like having Valhalla?
It was good in the beginning, to be honest. But I guess I didn't ride it out long. I wasn't around long enough to, really know Valhalla, But no, I ended up having to step down because some real life issues. I ended up having to get a job, and I ended up I had a fire, uh, which I ended up having to move to my sister's house, and it was a crazy like 3 4 months. I knew I couldn't dedicate the time and put the effort that I needed to put to run the billet. So I just stepped down and kind of gave it to my boy Aeon. And yeah, it was fun while I had it though. While I had Valhalla anyway.
Just checking. Just
We
want to
don't
compare
have to
notes.
lie. We can cut this.
Yeah,
part
we
out.
yeah
Like,
we,
you
we
don't
can.
have
Yeah,
to.
it's okay.
We live with him. We know.
I could be a little chaotic at times.
Chaotic good.
Just chaotic.
It's like organized chaos. So that like, I feel like if you can manage and like you can perfect organized chaos, that's optimal. You don't want to be predictable, but you also don't want to be stale. One day you might be just walking next to Valhalla and talking about stuff. Next, he can smack you in the back of the head. You don't know. Literally don't know. He's unpredictable.
Yeah.
I am chaos.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm getting text messages over here.
You're good, hey, Corvus. You're good, man. We appreciate you being on, and you're always welcome here. This has been a very enlightening interview. I know a lot of people don't know a whole lot about Onyx, so we appreciate you kind of shedding light on that. Congratulations again for being a brand new Cyclone company arc. Looking forward to seeing what you're doing over there. And we'll be able to chat in the future. Like I said, you're always welcome. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for having me. I'm not the best speaker. I got quite kind of get derailed a little bit, but anyway, nonetheless, it was fun.
Well, I think that's the thing about podcasts is less like public speaking and it's more just like sitting down and talking to people. So like if you're just sitting and vibing and fucking talking, I mean, bro, we're listening.
All
That's
right,
why that's why
cool.
you're
Yeah.
that's why you're here,
Yeah, don't think
Nah.
about it. Just let it flow.
Yeah.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Thanks, sugar daddy.
All right. Well, that was CP Korvus, ladies and gentlemen. He is Cyclone's company arc. If you have questions about the detachment in general, obviously he'd be happy to answer your questions, as would any of the ARC troopers that we do have on staff. That's what they do. ARC Open in Discord. If you have questions on that. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over here. I have to apologize and make a public statement to Sergeant Slider. Didn't realize that he made an LOA for Hyper and not himself, and told everybody, over 140 people, as a matter of fact, that he was going in after. If he's not Slider, thank God. I was a little bit worried that Dakota might have to take over. That scares the crap out of me. But I sorry about that. So Slider's not leaving. So in the vested interest in making sure that this isn't screwed up, I'm gonna turn it over to Valhalla, who does this beautifully, for the hail and farewell.
Do you enjoy calling steel rain on the CIS? Do you enjoy being responsible for calling it a lat to save your brothers from harm's way? The only thing that gets your dick hard these days is a clear and concise message over a long-range radio. Then good news, I have the job just for a man like you. Reach out to any RTO instructor to get more information on being a radio transmissions operator in the 501st today.
Greetings, everybody. It is your resident hail and farewell specialist. So same thing as or at least the same thing for when I do it. Fucking Bridger. We're going to be welcoming new people to the unit. Saying goodbye to some of the old people who have left the unit, or see you later to some of the people who are going inactive for a little bit. And again, for these new people that whose names I'm about to say, just make sure when you run into them, reach out to them, make them feel welcome, help them out, find their way around the unit, and just be good community members. So I'm gonna kick off the list here with the hails. We're saying hello to Veron, Ninja, Corrupted, Chopper, Slapshot, what a banger of a name, and Zach. For the farewell, unfortunately, it's two people I don't really know a whole lot. But so for the farewell portion, we've got Snorri and Iran who are just going inactive. And Tim, I know you were saying you were saying Snorri helped you out a little bit when you first joined the unit. Why don't you talk about Snorri for a bit?
Yeah, I was. He actually, I think, was with Clock when I got slotted with 1-1. I think they were together, and I was just in the channel one day. I'm like, yo, this crazy fucking Russian guy sounds dope as shit. And then I just started hanging around, 1-1, and he was always around reserving for us, and he was just a swell fella to have around. And he was hilarious, unintentionally hilarious as well, because he's just this crazy Russian guy. It was like, okay, let's go. We kill these droids. We take HFP. We throw it into building. I'm like, all right, this is great. I love this. And he's just, a swell fella to be around. And guys not leaving. You guys made me so upset when you said his name first. I'm like, yo, why is he fucking leaving? He's just going inactive. That's right.
Yeah, and then we've got Iran who Bridger. I know is Iran one of your Generation 1 or Generation 2?
He's Gen 2.
Yeah, so you talk about Iran for a bit.
I love Ron dearly. That was one of my favorite UTC classes ever, and those boys all know that. Shout out to the Temptations. Ron was very quiet when we got him. He's active duty, and did everything he could to be a part of stuff with his squad and with the unit. His schedule is obviously extremely busy, and he did like I said, he fought time zones. He fought moving across a few countries just to be around people. Found a home in Cyclone 3 for a while. Times got to change, so he moved on to Cyclone 2, and spent a lot of time in both of those, and did very well as an RTO. Very reserved guy, but was always willing to help. I appreciate him. I love that kid to death, and obviously, if he has time again, I'd offer him a spot in a heartbeat. He means a lot, and he's a damn good trooper and a extremely dependable guy. And hopefully I see him back soon. That's my son. I have many sons, but this one is mine.
All of your all right, whatever. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the hail and farewell. Before we close out the podcast, I would just like to say this openly, that if I were to ever have to vacation in 29 Palms for the holidays, the mistletoe would not be the only thing hanging under the mantle.
Oh my god.
Boo. Boo.
Dude, that 3-second pause from Bridger is all you need to know. Normally you can get this guy rolling with anything. He ain't fucking biting on that
Boo.
one.
No, just kidding. That was decent. Yeah, no, awesome. We're gonna keep going with the content. We got one more week, maybe a couple weeks here. I'll give you probably a concrete answer by the next podcast here, but we are going on hiatus. we're going on hiatus for Winter Stand Down. So we're gonna take a little break, but we love you guys. We're gonna be back at it first week of January when that does happen with more content. So you guys have been awesome, like I said, and we're gonna keep moving from there. So that being said, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Later, gamers.